Hey guys, Monique Leslie here, Misfit Crafter, and I'm bringing you Cricut Design Space Warp Text in the beta version. If you want to try out this feature, we will have to actually switch over to the beta version, just like we did before with the larger print to cut. So you're going to head over to the menu on the upper left hand side. We are going to go down to our settings and make sure we open our Cricut Design Space settings. Make sure you're on the General tab, and then go ahead and choose our beta application experience, and then we're going to hit done. Now once we hit done, just keep in mind, if you haven't already switched to beta, it's going to download the beta version of Design Space and restart Cricut Design Space. I've already had it, so it's not restarting for me. So just be sure you've saved whatever project you may have on hand prior to this. Now we're going to go ahead and just start with the new project, and you'll see that there is a new little feature right here called warp. And what this is so that you can warp your text into different shapes. So we're going to go ahead and just start with the basic text, type out simple hello, and then I'm going to go ahead and change the font. Now just keep in mind, it doesn't seem that it works with every font, because the very first font that I decided on didn't allow me to warp the text, where the prior one did. So now if you look, it's saying that I can't warp the text. I thought, well, maybe it's because it's layers. So I went ahead and got rid of one of the layers, even though it wasn't showing. Was checking to see if something else was attached, nothing. So I ungrouped it and I detached it. And deleted it, and that still didn't work. So it apparently does not like this particular text. So we're going to go ahead and grab another one and switch it over to a different text that Design Space likes better for the warping. So I just went through a few, try to find a simple one so that you could also actually see the difference of what happens when it warps. So right here, we just got that text. We go back here, and now you can see that the warp is going to allow us to go ahead and use that now. Remember, this is in the beta version only. Now the beta version, I'm noticing that it makes you hit subscribe even though I'm already a Cricut Access member. I just opened it, closed it right back up. As you can see, it doesn't renew for a while. And then when I went back, it just says check it out. So it's great. So you don't have to, there's nothing else wrong with it. Again, it's beta version. So there are 21 different versions of warp text you can use in the beta version. So here's the first one, and we'll go through each one so you can get an example of what each warp text looks like. And we'll keep them up on the screen, but I am going to speed this up a bit so you don't have to sit here while I go through 21 different warp versions at the same time. So speed up time. See, we're just speeding through all of these just so you can get an idea of what each one will look like. But we are going to examine a few of these after so you can see what you can do with each of the different versions. Well, not everyone. We'll just do a couple examples of what you can do with the different versions. But some of these are kind of cool, like the little wavy ones. You can do all kinds of things. There's like a bottleneck one. It's kind of cool. And sorry about all the extra noise, guys. It's a nice day today. It's the first time we've been able to open windows. You might get some wind and stuff in the background. So this one's pretty cool. You could do like pennants with these. All kinds of possibilities of what you can use this warp text for. And we're almost through the whole list now. And then depending on the text that you have and the angle, and if you stretch it out or bunch it up and your spacing, they're all going to look a little different. You can do a lot with them. And then of course you got the, I call it the Star Wars version. But like I said, there are, and sorry, I'm a little off with that. There's actually 24 different designs that you can do. I'm pretty sure they'll probably come up with some more after as well. But that is all of them. That is 24 different designs for the warp text. So now what I'm going to do is just show you some of the things that we can do with the different warp text. So for instance here, just playing with the little pennant or triangle shape. We're gonna move that around. I forgot my geometry. So we're just flipping this around and make a larger pennant, and then we can go ahead and grab that one triangle version of the text. And I'm just unlocking the ratio just so I can make it a skinnier, more pennant looking thing. So this would be cute for stickers, or if you're cutting out like a big felt piece of pennant and you want to make pennant letters, this would be perfect for that. And I decided to be fancy and make it a print to cut so I could put a pattern in there. So it's a little funky. Forgive me for playing around with this a bit more than we really needed to. I'll just go ahead and speed this up so you guys don't have to go through all the changes. All right, so there, I finally settled on a design. Not the greatest, but you know, for demonstration purposes. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting that one triangle shape and then just pulling out the text. Played around with it a little bit so that I could figure out like how I would like the text to look, and the different ways that it would look. But again, this is the beta version, so we had a little weirdness happen along the way. So you can see like right here, it's not bad. It's lined up at the middle. So I was trying to figure out how to make it look a little more centered. So I figured, okay, I guess I can kind of twist it so it's pointing a little more towards the middle. Then I went to try to play with the alignment. It's already like super centered. Thought maybe if I switch it to the top instead, it'll go up. It moved, but just barely. But it's not too bad. So I figured, okay, well, then maybe this isn't exactly the right text for it. So went through and kind of looked at different versions of text that might be a little better for this particular thing. Like I said, you can see how it would come in handy for something like this, because you couldn't do this with something in a normal like font, text font or anything like that. It would never really kind of work out. So I like the stretch that it gave us so that we could do the pennant. So yeah, so I just kind of went through and tried to figure out what I could find with it. Finally settled on something just to see what it would look like, to play with it. And then this happened. So like I said, it is the beta version. So just keep in mind, if you're going to do the beta version, things like this can happen. So I was like, okay. And the funny thing is, later on, you'll kind of see me go through and like click on it. And I thought, well, maybe it's the font doing it. But if I click it here, it's letting me edit the text. If I click it here, it's letting me edit the text, but then it somehow corrected itself. Don't know how, but it did. Definitely looks a lot better too. So now I'm just resizing it. So just a reminder, this is a beta test version. You can be helpful and just let them know, hey, when I did this and then this happened. But don't expect it to get corrected right away, because this is the test version. That's exactly what it's for, so that, you know, if you decide to go to the beta version, you may get a few little weird glitches and things like that. But definitely feel free to message Cricut so they know what's going on, so that they can work out these glitches when it finally comes to the live version of Cricut, because you know, you can't guarantee anything in the beta. So now I decided, okay, well, let's go ahead and play around with a few more other shapes, because I've been wanting to try kind of that bubble looking warp. So I decided we'll grab a little circle so we can test that out. And I was like, well, let's also just grab a shape of some kind, or a image of some kind. So I went in, just browse all the shapes so I can get an idea of what I might want to put it on. I found pretty quickly this cute little fox that they have on here, and it's perfect because it has a nice round belly. So if I were to make like a stuffed toy out of it or something like that, it's kind of perfect for a pattern for a stuffed toy because it's easy, or stickers, whatever. So I just centered up the two things, flattened it to make it almost like a sticker just so I can play with it. Made it a bit bigger just so you guys can see it. So right away you're going to see, because it's print to cut, it's giving me an error. Don't worry about that. This is just so I can show you guys what it's going to look like with the warp text. So I decided to go ahead and grab new text so we can get an idea of what it would look like. And I wanted to just do something like really simple so you can really see what it would look like. But there's such a big list to go through to try to find something simple. So I finally just went to good old System Arial, because that's usually pretty simple, straightforward text. And then we're going to go ahead and put in a name so that we can see what it would look like. So I want to try this number 7 bubble text, see how it look. It's pretty good. You can see it's kind of hard to tell because it's all lowercase, but there is a difference. There is more of a bubble in the middle and the ends are smaller. It's just that I'm using all lowercase letters, but at the end I'll show you what it looks like with the uppercase letters. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You see how cute that actually looks with the different versions. So you can kind of get an idea of what changed. So this is what it looks like in different views, so you can get an idea. But we're going to go back to that bubble version because I definitely like that one better. But this is what it looks like with bubble. This is what it looks like without bubble. So you can see that there was definitely a difference in that font. Now, yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, it is the beta version, so you're going to run into a bit of quirks, but these are all the different versions that you have. And the next little slide I'm going to show you, though, I'll show you what it looks like all caps. You can see that bubble version better now. See? Definitely you can see that bubble version now way better. So I hope you like that. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You want to see more things like this.